بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to the After School Dawah podcast. Assalamu alaikum, Tahmid and Saad. What you man saying?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. What are you telling me? Good yet?
Bro, I asked you first, bro.
It's been a while.
Bro, you know what's annoying, yeah? When you ask someone like, yo, what you saying? And then they go, yo, what you saying? Like, bro, answer the question first.
It's the mystery.
Yo, it's the mystery, bro. Just arrived. But yeah, anyways, it's been a while since we did an episode, man. Like, I feel like we say that every episode now. Like, we come on and we're like, yo,
it's been a while.
Back in the days, back in the youths. That was when we did our last episode, bro, basically.
What, last year? Last episode was last year.
Oh, yeah, it's been a year since you do an episode, bro.
Yeah.
That is mad. That is mad.
ASD,
oh, yeah, this is the first episode of 2021 then. That's mad.
Oh, happy
I guess,
New Year to
like,
everyone, I guess. Right?
Yeah, Happy New Year to everyone. You know, hopefully it's going to be a better year than last year. Inshallah. What did we talk about last time? You know?
Talked about superficial relationships and meaningful connections.
Yes, that was mad.
Jeez.
About real meaning of love and stuff like that as well, I think.
Yeah. Well, I need to listen to that podcast, man. I need to listen to that episode.
You should go to.
It sounds very interesting.
link.tr.ee/afterschooldawah. And
why not just go on youtube.com/
youtube.com/. Well, that's not a URL. We don't have a custom URL, unfortunately.
Well, can't I just listen to it on like Spotify and stuff?
You can just listen to it on Spotify if you want.
Yeah.
Is
Follow
it
us on
Spotify?
Instagram.
I feel like you relate to the guys as well. I feel like you'll relate to them
that's
a lot.
mad. Are they on like iTunes as well, bro?
They're on iTunes, bro.
They're on iTunes, Anchor, Spotify, Apple
Pocket
Music,
Casts,
everything, man.
Anything, bro.
You know,
if you follow them on Instagram, bro, you might get some
me.
serious stuff going on if you follow them on Instagram. You know?
Bro, I don't know. He sounds a bit like a waste man, innit?
He's a bit of a waste man, but that's why he reminds me of you, innit?
But yeah, anyways, we don't want to be here all night. But yeah, so for the people that are watching, jazakallahu khair for tuning in to today's episode. It's been a while. We did say that we're going to have a bit of a break because of exams and stuff that all three of us had during this time period. And I'm sure that a lot of you guys had exams as well that are watching this, like, and I hope your exams went well too. But yeah, alhamdulillah, our semester 1 finished. You know, we got that little break as well afterwards for like a week or so. And now we're kicking it with semester 2, inshallah, going ham, okay? Halal ham, of course. Not haram ham.
Turkey ham.
Turkey
ham. Exactly.
Is there any other form of ham? Is it just turkey ham?
I think it's turkey. There's turkey bacon.
I feel stupid for asking that.
I think there's turkey ham too.
Yeah,
bro, no. You
know what I mean? Like, is it like, can you get like deer ham?
Or
like
I don't think so.
Yeah. It's talking about like, so you got pig ham, you got turkey ham, is there? You got the kind. I don't know. It might be.
What is ham?
Bro, I feel like ham is just.
I think ham is a certain part. Like, I think they might. We're going
too deep in today's episode, bro. It's too early, bro. 2021 just started, bro.
I'm done. Ham isn't a cut. I'm pretty sure it's not a cut. Nah.
I think it is a cut. Is it not?
No. Cuts are like T-bones and then shanks.
I feel like a ham is because it's always the same sort of. Wait, is it not like a pot, bro? Well, not like a ham, bro.
Because you can get halal hamburgers, right?
Bro, so what is the ham? Like, what part of the animal is it usually?
I mean, let me look this up. This conversation is so interesting already.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm just curious now.
What is ham? Ham is pork from a leg cut that has been. So it's from.
Oh, is it from like the hamstring?
No, I swear you can have
from like the hamstring.
That has been preserved by a wet or dry curing with or without smoking.
Oh, right. Oh, I guess
this
bacon
has just
is different.
turned into after school hour cooking, man.
Yeah, okay. I think you can have turkey bacon, maybe not turkey ham then, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say, I've never turkey ham didn't
Yeah,
sound.
yeah. I've never heard of
yeah,
it.
No,
bacon
bro.
is like
You can have turkey ham because you know when they have like ham and pineapple on pizza in like halal shops.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
you can have ham. But bro, any white people listen to this? Let us know.
White.
Or any reverts? Any reverts?
Or just
Let us know.
anyone that knows.
Any of your Muslims.
Anyone that knows.
Any of
Anyone
you
that knows.
kuffars over
No,
here.
if you know and
chefs.
you're a Muslim, it's a bit sus, bro.
So I think
I'm
it's
joking.
it's the way it's made. It's
You're
just
Saad,
similar
bro.
to
Stop
pork
exposing
ham.
my breakfast. How you
Interesting. Anyway,
might
when
have
all those
thought, you know.
protesters raided the White House, you seen that? That was mad.
Wow, man. You know what? It was shocking because people were pointing out that like if it was
the
black people,
difference. Yes.
if bro, honestly, the entire like army would have been there, bro. The military would have been there.
innit?
Everyone would have been shooting like rubber bullets, tear gas, this
Bro,
that.
it's because they all knew anyway. It's not like they didn't know before then, innit?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
at that point, they know that we know that they know. Like
You know, yeah.
now we know that they know that they knew you do
Nice.
something. You get me? Before then, they already
Nice.
knew. Like, you get what I mean, Tamid? You get what I mean, innit?
Yeah, I get you.
No,
Oh,
you
like
just,
it's-
it just shows the inequality in how they treat with it, innit? Treat with the situation.
And like even the way he tweeted
Well,
about them, or some people,
it's
some
just because they knew
people
they
too.
don't care about the situation. They just care about how we're going to react to the situation. That's why they deal with it in the first place. Otherwise, they already knew about all of this with Trump, bro. They didn't care whilst he was president.
Yeah, that's
They were
true.
like, yo,
Yeah.
you do you, bro. You do you with all your.
I mean, what was
whatever
surprising to me was
shady
that,
stuff
you know,
you
as
do.
soon as he was like basically about not to be president, literally every single social media platform just wiped him off, bro. It was like Facebook
Yeah.
said you're gone, Twitter said you're gone, Reddit said you're gone.
he got banned
and,
from
like,
everywhere, right?
He got banned from everywhere, bro.
Listen, Mr. Trump, if you listen to this podcast, listen, if after school Dawah had like a Twitter or something, we wouldn't ban you from it. Don't worry. Stay on it, bro. Don't worry.
Yeah, we
Got
need a we need
If
a
we
laughing
owned
stock.
Twitter, we would have banned you, bro. We'd ban you. We'd like
Nah,
ban
bro, you'd be an advertisement for it, bro. Like, low-key, like, for me, and I don't use Twitter.
Yes.
But I
Yes,
feel
yeah.
like the only reason I would have ever used Twitter was probably because of Donald Trump. You know?
On-
Just to
honestly,
see what
like, bro, we're gonna get
Yeah.
flack for this, but honestly, I think like, bro, he changed Twitter like proper. Like, he was the first president to actually use like social media to such a like high
trust
level,
me.
right?
I rate that. Like,
Yeah,
there's so
it's
much
like-
you can't rate about Donald Trump, but you have
Yeah.
to be able to rate that, like.
Yeah.
using
Although
Twitter
I
and
think
stuff.
it wasn't him though. It was probably
I
his
mean, for what,
marketing
though?
team or social media team in it. But they did a flipping good job of like making him
Yeah,
stand
yeah,
out on the
yeah.
platform. Because everyone, so if you agree with him or disagree with him, doesn't matter. You were following him.
Bro, I just like, I don't like, honestly, like, obviously I'd expect it to be someone else that is doing it, like, with their
Yeah.
account, but the actual tweets are so damn stupid, bro. Like, I feel like it's not possible that someone who's doing it as a job, getting paid, will make it that stupid purposefully.
But
Like, I
imagine
don't
how much they
think-
were getting paid, bro.
that's
Like
possible,
literally
bro.
tweeting for the president.
Yo, trust me, man.
They must have been making bad.
You ever think they just read over what they
Ahmed,
tweeted?
it's so.
Hmm?
You say you're lagging in it.
Oh, I must
as long as you're recording from your side, it should be okay.
Yeah, I'm still lagging.
Because you're recording local in it, so it's
Yeah,
fine.
I'm still lagging. No,
Yeah. What were you saying?
I'm
Thomas?
still lagging. Can you hear me?
Well, I think it's lagging.
Am I still?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, we can hear you. Hello?
Okay, wait. I'm back.
We can hear you, bro. Are you there?
Hello?
Yeah, hello. Okay, there we go.
Okay, there we go. Okay, finally. Bro, I said that about 5 times. Why is Saad not answering me, man? Never mind. I forgot what it was. Just carry on.
Oh, right. Yeah, what were we saying? Yeah, so his marketing team must be like doing like but now they don't have jobs, so I don't know if they transferred over to the Biden thing. But about Biden, I want to ask you guys: do you guys think, like in terms of foreign policy, he'll be any better than any of his predecessors?
I was told he'd be a lot worse than Trump. But I don't know anything about politics too much myself, so I can't say. But
yeah.
from what my sisters told me and what other people told me, like Biden's actually worse for Middle East specifically, but he's actually worse than Trump. But for his own country, it'd be better and stuff. Like
Yeah,
that.
I
But
agree.
again, that's how it is.
I think
Isn't it?
it's
That's
the
how it
complete
is.
opposite of Trump. Like Trump,
Yeah.
to me, like Trump didn't really care about anyone outside of the US except the big players like China, right, and Russia. And then Iran was like, he was having a little spat with Iran, but they weren't that big of a threat, I think. Like in terms of like, Trump was just trying to show how macho he is in it to Iran, really. But in terms of actual threats, I don't think he really cared. Like in terms of threats, I think he cared more about China and Russia. So he cared more. He cared more about like the US's position, right, in the world. But I think, or like he cared more about like America being like a big power and him being the leader of it, right?
Yes, pretty much.
But in terms of Biden, I think in terms of like domestic policy within the US, like he's already brought around a lot of change, reversed a lot of change that did a lot of harm for a lot of people. Like the immigration policy, i.e. the Muslim ban, right, from certain countries, that's like lifted now. I think it's been lifted now at least. He's implementing better healthcare systems for Americans. What else was lifted? Oh yeah, the what was it called? The Dreamers thing, the Dreamers regulation. Forgot it was what it was called. The official name. Yeah, basically these I think the kids of immigrants or something like along those lines that came. I don't know when. Like I think it was early 2000s or somewhere. Basically a time period where these kids were basically like settled in the US in it, but they didn't have like proper citizenship or whatever. And then Trump was like, yeah, we're going to kick them out of the country. So he implemented rules that were like, yeah, we're not going to give them citizenship, they're going to leave the country. But Biden's reversed that and he said, no, we're going to give them all citizenship in due time. So, in terms of domestic policy, he's improving the US's position. And I think it could be really good, in the next 5 to 10 years for US to actually become like a place where Muslims can actually go to do tourism again, right? Because right now I really don't want to go to the US, like apart from it being like apart from it being like very like not every American is like this, of course, but generally when you go to the US, you'll hear a lot of situations where like you get patted down more, you get looked at more, this that, right? There's more of a kind of sentiment there, right? Anti-Muslim sentiment there. Which is everywhere, but I feel like it's more kind of obvious. And also there's just the threat of like walking around at night. It's like not safe anywhere. So yeah, it's just right now I don't want to.
I feel like that's anywhere in the world, to be fair.
Yeah, true. But I mean, like, bro, like imagine like I've heard stories of like people going around LA at night near like the popular like tourist hotspots, and they walk into a street and there's like or like when they're going to New York and they go like from Times Square to somewhere else, like just a few like a couple of like I don't know miles or whatever, not even miles, but like a bit of distance away from Times Square or the main tourist hotspots, and you just see like garbage everywhere. You see like people doing drugs, people selling drugs, or like gangs or whatever hanging out, and it's just like it's so divided, right? The entire country is so divided, and there's such a inequality that I think it's not the best place to be right now, even as a tourist, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. And plus with all that corona as well, they've got like the highest. They've got the highest rates of corona in the world.
Yeah, true.
Do they?
No.
Do they?
Yeah.
Bro, yeah, by far.
I mean, it's not too surprising. It is a big country.
Yeah. But I mean,
like, compared to like the UK, and it's a small island.
True. But I mean, like, bro, think of it. Like, you have so many billions upon trillions, actually, of dollars to do this type of stuff. To help out your citizens. But yeah, they're not doing anything with the like. I don't know how much of their money, but I'm pretty sure a large majority of the money still goes to the army. Like, what's the army still doing that they need that money? You know what I mean? Like, there's no.
We need our nukes in it, so.
Like, they already have a massive stockpile of nukes, bro. They could use to wipe out like a lot of countries, right?
You know what my dad told me, bro? You can never have too many nukes. You can never have too many nukes.
Tell them.
Yeah. What do you guys think of like what was I gonna say? I forgot. Anyway, sorry. Carry on.
About your new haircut, it's pretty bad. Can't lie.
Well, I've been cut in a while actually.
Let's be honest, bro. Let's be honest, right here, man. Saad never had a good haircut, bro. Come on.
Wow.
Ouch, you went there.
Wow. You know what? I'll agree with that. I
mean, I can't really speak.
I'm only messing.
When I get a haircut, you can't even tell.
Your haircut is like the default haircut in the game, bro. like, for the main character.
Mine, that means.
Why is that true?
Yours, bro.
Yours.
Mine.
Yours. Yeah.
You know, I can't, bro. My hair is just so bad. Like, I went to the barber's one time, and he was like, "Bro, your hair is just so like rigid and like it's not malleable. It's not. You know, it's not adjustable."
Bro, even the barber's like, yo, this ain't my job.
I don't get paid enough for this.
Like, he was trying to style my hair with gel or whatever. He's like, "Bro, it's not working. Like, it's not. I don't know what." And it's true. It's like my hair doesn't. Anyway.
That is jokes, man. That is jokes. Yeah, I feel sorry for your barber, man.
Nah, it's not common.
For me, man, I haven't had a haircut in time, bro.
I know.
So you should grow
And
your
my
hair
hair's
out long.
very long.
Like,
I
My
can't, bro.
hair's
I get clowned on by my mom. They're like, my mom and my mom and dad. They're like, "Bro, it looks like you're wearing one of those Mexican hats, bro."
yeah, but
I
they
get
won't stop you. Though. They'll just clown you.
I wonder what Saad would look like with long hair, though.
I feel like
I would like it,
so,
but
yeah,
I
feel like
think
you'd rock
managing
you
it
know?
would
I feel
be
like it
a
looks
big
sick.
effort, you know.
I think
I
it
feel like
looks sick.
you just, I feel like we'll just have to see him, bro. I don't know if he looks sick or not.
Oh yeah, no, I can imagine what you look like. What? It depends.
It's the same with any guy. To be fair, like if I
never know
imagine
until you
any
see.
guy with long hair, like if in my head I'm like, okay, Tahmid with long hair, he probably look like a girl, bro. Like I'll probably think that anyway.
That's a
innit?
compliment.
Yeah, but what's your
Until-
definition of long? Like to the shoulders?
Like his
yeah.
one. Before
Because to
in
me,
the
like
first
Ahmed's
year.
hair is long.
Yeah, my hair's always at this length and long.
Yeah. Like I would like.
It's not
I would like.
long, but Tahmid does have long hair.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
I know,
long,
but like, if I was thinking of like me having long hair, I think of like what Ahmed has, which is like it goes down to his nose or whatever. Innit?
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Remember when I grew in quarantine, it went down to my chin, past my chin.
Did it
that was
actually?
sick.
Huh? I would
Yeah.
grow it if I, lived alone.
But Tahmid suits his hair length because he's got
I think
like
it covers
curly
his
hair and
face,
stuff
bro.
in it.
Like his face is like you know his face isn't small like mine, and it's not small and like circular like mine.
Oh yeah, Saad, if it was your face, it would cover the whole thing, innit?
Yeah. Legit.
Tahmid covers half his face, bro. He's still got the emo face going on. innit? But the thing is, it suits Tahmid, bro. The look suits Tahmid.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, anyways, what were we talking about?
We were
before I
talking
hit
about
this
like
Saad's hair,
big
bro?
politics.
We went from Donald Trump to Saad's
Foreign
hair.
policy, man.
Mad.
Yeah, but I don't like talking
Calm,
about
bro.
politics. That's why
Yeah,
I say
same.
I don't know anything about it, so I can't really talk about it. Not even that, it's
What have
just
you guys
boring.
been doing since the new year? Any New Year resolutions or any of that?
What's that?
You know, at the start of the year, they're like, oh,
Obviously, what's the new year?
Wait, were you really about to explain it? Oh my.
well, I mean, bro, there's some
So,
people out there that
basically,
don't
at
know
the
the
start of the
alphabet
new
yet.
year-
So I'm like, okay, listen.
Yeah,
Maybe-
Todd
You
has
say that you're
maybe.
gonna do a few things, you do it for a month, and then you stop.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I mean, that's not how it's supposed to be, right? Well,
Just because of Corona. I
Wait,
think-
is it not? I thought that is how it's supposed to be, bro.
nah, that's just a meme, innit? Like, and when New Year's resolutions, like when people actually do it, I think they just do it half-assed. Like they can't be asked committing it to for
Yeah.
you know for the rest of their life, or at least for the period of time they said they were gonna. So they just do it for like a couple of years. Like this is why like sometimes I hear like like bodybuilders and like people that go gym often, they'll just stop coming in January because it's so packed.
Yeah.
and
It
people
gets
end up-
packed in January.
Exactly, and then they'll just come near the end of January and it's completely empty, like it was before.
Yeah.
So
Like December
there's
and
only a few people.
February, exactly the same, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's just January that goes a bit higher.
But like, did you guys?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's because of the fact they can't be asked in it. I think it's more of the idea, like, at the end of December, for example, you're very highly motivated to change your
true,
life
yeah.
or whatever, and then you make these big resolutions, like really big resolutions, like, yo, I'm gonna completely stop this or something. Like, let me give you an example. Yeah, let's say there's a guy who smokes cigarettes in it, right? And he's been smoking it for years, and he's like, yo, I got a New Year's resolution, I'm gonna stop smoking cigarettes this year. It's like, yo, congratulations, well, that's like a very big task, innit?
Yeah.
And that's what tends to happen. Like, they'll give themselves like a really big goal or something. Obviously, they won't be able to complete it like that, innit? So you need smaller goals, and then when you have smaller goals, like, you need to be able to keep that motivation going, innit? So usually that ain't the
Especially
case, innit?
I think you just have all that energy, like you said, in it, the motivation near the end. And then I didn't mean in the sense that they don't put enough effort into it. I meant in the sense that, like what you're saying, is that they don't think
Yeah,
of a resolution properly in it. Like I got sent this post not too long ago by my friend, and in the video I just watched a bit of it, and it was basically saying like people basically get overconfident, right, and think of themselves more than what they are and what they can achieve. And so when they get to that level, they just end up, being like, oh, this is too much for me. I can't be, I clearly can't finish this. So they just give up entirely. Or what it becomes is like, okay, I'm gonna do 20 minutes each day, but then they miss a day, so it becomes 40. They're like, okay, I'll do 40 now, right, today. But then they miss that, so it becomes like 60, and so on and so forth, right? It just keeps compiling over and over. So what he said in the video, he said, make it something like really, really, like go down to like the basics, like 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Like really, like literally, like there's no excuse for you to be able to not put 2 minutes. Yeah, it's like 2 minutes is such a short amount of time that you could literally do, like, do it whenever. Like, you spend longer, like, I don't know, what's a really short thing?
Brushing your teeth.
Brushing your teeth. Yeah, you probably spend more time brushing your teeth.
You spend 2 seconds brushing your teeth, Ahmed.
Yeah, I've got electric toothbrush, right? I bought it not too long ago.
Oh, legit.
Yo, they're so good.
I've
you feel
never
the
tried
difference,
one,
man.
I can't
I've never
use
tried
them,
an
bro.
electric.
I'm not even lying. Like, I use a normal brush, and the feeling you get after using an electric one is completely different.
Does it not
It's
give you like a
actually
headache or whatever? I don't
Why
like
to
it.
give you a headache?
I don't know. It's the
Apparently,
vibration
like,
that makes
it's
me,
good because it goes in like that sort of pattern that it needs to go in.
Oh yeah.
Or whatever. And it does it for all your teeth. One of the biggest problems like with New Year's resolution is the fact that it's a year thing, right?
Yeah.
So you tell yourself, yo, I'm gonna like pretty much going off what Saad's saying in it, like I'm gonna do this and that, but clearly it's like a guarantee that you're gonna fail at least once, right? What happens with a New Year resolution is like as soon as you fail, you're just there like, I'll do it next year, innit? I've already failed, I've already lost, so I'll do it next year. That's why, like with the gym example, innit? That's why the gym always gets packed in January. But by February, bro, like they miss that one leg day, bro. They're like, I can't do this anymore, bro.
That's true. Yeah.
Like that's why, like, let's say having like a weekly resolution or something is probably a better shout. Firstly, like when you say a year, just saying a year already adds on that anticipation, right? And it already makes it sound like it has to. It already makes it sound like it has to be something big in it, because if you're gonna spend a year doing it, it has to be big, So you already have to choose something big, and then it's got a high anticipation, and then you start it, bro. You make that one mistake in it, and then you just like, can't do it, bro.
Yeah,
that's kind of the mentality it builds up in it.
Yeah, it's like you're putting so much mental effort into something, that.
But I mean, that being said, is there a way to do it that's good? Like that's actually
100%. Like the method like that guy was talking about, 2 minute method. I think that's like really useful for a lot of people, because it's not something like, okay, so a lot of people find excuses for themselves in it, but in this situation, like you can barely, there's no way out in it. There's honestly like, I don't think anyone like in the world could really be that busy to not give 20 seconds and 2 minutes. And even if you can't give 2 minutes, just cut it down until you get to the time where you can, like 1 minute or 30 seconds or whatever. And this could be especially useful in terms of learning stuff like over a long period of time, like short tasks, like, okay, maybe you could like brute force them, right? And be like, I don't know, say you want to read a book or something, right? That's fairly short. So you could like be like, okay, well, I'm gonna read like 10 pages a day or something, 5 pages a day. That could work. But like, I feel like more, a lot of people are put off by longer tasks that take a long amount of time, and because they can't keep that concentration and effort up every single day. So like learning a language, for example, right? People can't put in like an hour every day. Like they'll just get burnt out, right? So if you say, okay, I'm gonna learn a word or a phrase each day, and break it down into the smallest parts, or I'm going to listen to 30 seconds of a recording of someone speaking the language every day, then it might help more, because it's a longer task and there's less effort each day. And then maybe you'll get to a point where like, oh, I have so much time now, and I've progressed far enough that I can put in more time now, and it's easier for me, because like when you start something, right, initially, that's the hardest part, getting into like the cadence or the pattern or the rhythm of doing it continually, right? But once you get into that rhythm, you know, and that mindset of like, okay, this is just a general like task for me now. It's like, you know, initially when you, for example, initially when you go gym, right, you're like, okay, Monday, leg day, Thursday, chest, right, Friday, rest, Saturday, whatever, right? But once you've done that so many times, you're just like, you don't think about it. Monday just comes and you're already doing leg day before you. Yeah, it's just a routine at that point. It's like, it's so normal for you. Exactly. And obviously it's the same with bad habits too, innit? When you do them so much, it becomes a routine. But in terms of like good habits, it's a good way to get started.
Consistency over intensity.
That's true, 100%. Consistency over intensity.
Even in Islam as well, actually. Allah favors deeds, small deeds that are done regularly, rather than one act of like one massive deed, you know.
Because that was an extravagant deed, innit?
Because like things you do in the moment aren't really reflective of how you are normally, how you live your life, how you do things. But obviously patterns, routines, things that you stick to, things that you do consistently reflect how you are, what you do in your daily life, stuff like that. And so they mean more.
I think like a good analogy of like what Saad said, I actually thought about this like today or yesterday, innit? I recall back to like when I was at university, I used to ride my bike to uni, innit, right? And it wasn't like a long bike ride, but there was this like area that was uphill for a while, innit? Like you have to go uphill for a while, and you know how much
near your uni?
Kills. Yeah, near my uni, innit? So you know how much that kills your legs, innit? So I remember like in the beginning it was like really difficult to do it, and when I'd get to uni I'd always be sweating and everything, and I need to cool off and take bare time and this and that, innit? And you know, like riding it there, it would take me like an extra 10 minutes to get there, innit? Stuff like that, right? But then as the weeks went by, right, obviously my legs were able to adjust to the pressure of me riding my bike up hills like every day, right? So I felt less pain, I felt like I was using up less energy, and it wasn't like as difficult as it was in the beginning. I wouldn't sweat as much in the beginning, and I think that's a good way to look at it, with like, you know, creating a new habit. And it like it's hard in the beginning, but then after a while, you know, I think after like 28 days or something, that's how long it takes for your body to register it as like a regular procedure, a regular routine in it. And then it takes like 90 days to like break a routine or break
98?
90.
Oh, to break one. Like that's what I heard in 2 days. 2 seconds.
Okay, big man, tapping it.
I mean that makes
breaking a habit is much easier than making a habit. But yeah.
Nah, I'd say.
I'd argue it's harder, bro. I'd argue
really?
it's much harder. Yeah.
Breaking one
like,
is.
Okay,
actually. But it depends. It's like if you're talking about addictions or habits or behavioral habits.
Addictions and habits are the same thing.
Nah, there's a
addiction is just
they coincide, but they're not the same thing.
Like addiction is just a more extreme version of a habit, if you get what I mean. That's really what it is.
I mean, yeah, but there's a difference in it, in the intensity. It's like addiction is like, okay, you're used to drinking.
But I'm saying
right?
that it's just a more intense version of a habit.
Yeah, but like I feel like
thing,
the intensity is so further ahead that's why it's in its own league, right? It's like drinking, you know, like being an alcoholic is completely different to like drinking, you know, every Saturday. Like it's a habit that you go out and drink every Saturday, or it's a routine for you, but you don't like, or you know, it's a habit that you play games a lot in your free time. But addiction would be like playing it 24/7.
Something that you can't live without.
Yeah.
Whereas a habit is something you develop. I mean, you develop an addiction too, but a habit is like.
Nah, I feel like
you
what I'm trying to say in it. Obviously, like an addiction is a much more intense version in it. Yeah. But I mean, like in terms of like the parameters around it, it's pretty much like it goes by the same what do you call it, principles.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a habit it starts the same way that habit would start. Yeah. Like the reason why an addiction exists, or the way it works similar to how a habit would work, innit? So it's a good way to look at, because then you can understand how to break and build habits.
Just to add to something Muhammad was saying, when you're like in terms of physical, sorry, not physical, in terms of like the the mental, like basically your brain getting used to the routine, right? Like Muhammad said, I think at that point it can even become, it can go to the fact where you're like, okay, you basically just end up spending more time doing it than you would otherwise realize. You're like, maybe reading a book, for example. Like, let's go back to that example. You say you read like half a page a day or something, or a page a day. But when you get so used to it, you read like 5 pages or 10 pages, and you're like, oh wow, I've read this much. Maybe I'll stop now. So it'll just become, it get to the point where you're just reading more and more, or you're doing more and more, and you don't even realize it. You think the same amount of time's passed. Or you're not focusing on the time, basically. You're not paying attention to like, oh, I'm doing this for 30 seconds. Rather, you're doing it because you're used to it now.
I see that as something more beautiful than a habit, though, Saad. Like, I see it like there's 2 types, and there's one type which is more like, bro, I'm just gonna force myself to do this, like ride my bike to uni, for example. I'm just gonna force myself through that, innit? But then what you're talking about is something that you actually like grow an interest in something that
That's
you like.
true, yeah. And
then obviously like, if I'm like you said, reading a book, innit? Bro, if you give me a book when I was in high school or something, I'd be like, nah, fam. Like, you're like, yo, read.
Bro, even now,
like,
what do you mean?
read like 5-10 pages.
Yeah.
Read like 5-10 pages a day, innit? I'd be like, yo, no, man, that's a chore. I wouldn't do that. But then now, I'd happily read a book easy because I enjoy reading books. It's like, it's not something that, like, it's not work for me, innit? It's not hard. And then obviously, bro, if you like something, then it's just gonna be a lot easier for you.
That's true, yeah.
If you can find like that you enjoy something in it, and that's why I recommend like with Islam as well. Like if you're trying to learn, sorry for going on. If you want to try and learn the religion in it, like enjoy learning it. Like I feel like the people that really go far in their Islamic education or are able to keep it in more are always those students that are in the classes who are always like inspired by everything that's being said. Like the ones that are always like, yo, what? That's mad with the Sahabas and this and that. Like the people, the
Develop
kids
love
like
for it,
now in it. Yeah, exactly. Like bro, the kids in the mosque, for example, it's always the kids that are like, wow, Umar radiallahu anha, it was so amazing. Like the ones that really got inspired by stories are the ones that end up like progressing far into that education there. Rather than like the kids are like being forced to go to mosque in it, and then they just don't know anything, and
then they finish and then they go on about their own way.
It's
the
like,
ones
finally, bro.
Obviously, it'll always be the ones that go home and continue or stay behind and ask more questions. The ones that actually have an interest in it, the ones that love it. And I think it's Prophet ﷺ or someone. Don't quote me on this because I remember hearing it. It's like if you want to know what a person loves, just analyze what they do during the night.
Damn, I must love sleeping.
late at night.
Sleeping at night.
It's time when you're like completely alone in it, pretty much. You're fully alone.
Yeah.
And you could do whatever you want. You could sleep. You could do extra work. You could, I don't know, whatever workout. You do whatever in it. So if you want to see what someone loves or what they're truly interested in, just see what they do during the nights, and it would show. Obviously, I wish I could sleep, but
I mean, I don't know about you guys in it, but usually for me, late at night, I just sit there and plan how to make the world a better place.
How's that going for
true
you?
story.
How's that going?
I mean, when I started it, it was going pretty bad, and we didn't have Corona. Now we have Corona, so I feel like we're making progress.
It's always Corona, innit?
I feel like we're making progress.
Everyone's got that excuse.
Slowly but surely.
I would have been an Olympic athlete by now, but because of Corona, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's always Corona.
Yeah.
Bro, speaking of
like,
Corona, man, this might be a bit like controversial for people, innit? But obviously, like, Corona's not a good thing. It's a bad thing, right? It's affected a lot of us really badly.
Yeah, of course.
In fact, for me, it's affected me negatively as well, in the sense that, like, For me, I didn't have asthma since I was like 14 years old. Like that was the last time I had asthma in it. So I had really bad asthma as a kid. Like as a baby, I had really bad asthma. It was only when I grew up that it kind of went down, and by 14 I pretty much stopped having asthma completely, and I never used an inhaler since then, innit, right? But then ever since 2020 came and coronavirus came and stuff like that, I started having asthma again, and I think it was the first time I may have contracted coronavirus, and I wasn't tested positive with it, but my dad was in it like a few weeks back before I got tested.
Yeah.
So
I remember that.
when it happened, like bro, I just started having asthma again out of nowhere, and it was like, what the heck? And then Jacksepticeye, he's like a YouTuber.
Yeah,
so,
I remember.
Yeah, he made a video as well, like his like final video of 2020 or something, innit? And he said the same thing. He said he didn't have asthma since he was 18, but ever since he got coronavirus, his asthma came back.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I was like, oh crap, so it's happening to other people as well.
Mhm.
Like, it's not just me, I try and make a conclusion out of something. Like, it's other people, and I think it happened to someone else on the Raw Talk group chat as well. So,
Really?
yeah, it's a bit of a mad one, yeah. I feel it kind of makes sense how it could work. Like, coronavirus, ruining your, like, it gives you a fever and stuff in it. So,
Yeah.
Ruining your lungs and everything.
I guess that's why they say
I feel like that's
anyone
what
with
happened.
anyone with underlying health conditions,
Yeah.
they would be most at risk.
But that's the thing, and it's like obviously like for me the corona's left my system, you could say, like months back, but I still have like this asthma problem I'm dealing with again, and it's annoying because I'm not used to it anymore, innit? So obviously for people that are listening and you know what it's like to have asthma, you know that you have to keep like your inhalers with you all the time, innit? And because if you don't, you can have an asthma attack whenever. And like, bro, I remember me and Tamid were out in it. I went down to his or something. We were in the car, and bro, I started wheezing, man. And I couldn't even breathe, like at all. And I didn't have my inhaler
all the way
with
to
me.
my house just for me to take you home.
Bro, honestly, that was so annoying. And it was like, bro, I was just in the car. My lungs were literally closing up. Yeah, Tamid sat next to me. Tamid sat next to me like, "Alright, yo, should we go to yours?" I'm like, yeah, please, bro, I need my inhaler. Tamid just said, alright, 1 second. Continues texting on his phone, bro. Alright, calm.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't know how serious it
Tamid
was.
did not
innit?
realize, bro. Tamid doesn't cook anything.
When I saw you were like bare silent, so I was like, okay, this is, maybe it's actually serious. Let's go.
Bro, it was like,
I
I could
was like,
complain about it.
one
I
second,
couldn't
bro.
breathe, bro.
1 second, bro. Let me just finish up this game on like.
Bro, I was
Nah,
just there in
don't
my head
play
like,
that,
yo,
bro.
Tamid, move, fam, move your ass. Yeah.
Let me just record a
couldn't
TikTok real quick.
breathe.
Yo, my friend here, bro. He's on
Imagine-
asthma time.
Imagine, speaking of TikTok, I saw this maddest TikTok today, man. I want to make one like it. The guy on a skateboard.
Oh,
That's
after school,
trash.
that was TikTok, yeah.
Oh,
Imagine.
no way, bro.
Never.
I'd delete that so quick, bro.
Yo,
if you guys made that.
You guys got your
like-
phones? Just check on your WhatsApp. This TikTok is so
Well,
cold.
the viewers, the listeners can't see this.
Yeah, they can't.
So, well, let me describe it to them. What's this?
You get it?
Some guy, he jumped on a skateboard. Oh, it's a slow-mo trick. Okay, that's pretty sick, man. What the heck?
That is sick, innit? The camera,
pretty sick.
yo, everything.
Yeah. That's pretty sick.
My
Anyway,
phone died.
And the
if it didn't have music,
sunset and
it'd be better.
everything. Yo.
but going back to the conversation, right? Of the thing, right? A big thing that's popped up, ever since COVID really started, and ever since the vaccine news started coming out. The first vaccine, alhamdulillah. There's been talk, especially within the South Asian community, within the UK, of the vaccine being something bad, right? And there's secret like hidden chemicals in it, and obviously there's the whole microchip business and like this and that, and I think it's just firstly I'm just gonna say this, like, if anyone listening to us really believes the vaccine is bad, just answer me this question. It's obviously you can't talk back to us, but just think about this question, right? Would you rather not take the vaccine and have that regret, or at least the thought at the back of your mind the entire time that someone near you may have been killed, right, because you refused to take the vaccine? Or would you just say, sack it, take the vaccine, you know, on top of all the evidence proving that it's legit, and not have that person die because of you. Like, because a lot of us, like, still in the South Asian community, a lot of youngsters still live with their parents, right? They're not moved out yet. Or if they have moved out, then they live close enough to their parents, or, you know, they visit their parents often. And just, I would never be able to take that risk. I would never be, like, you know, thinking for the rest of my life that my parents or my grandma, if they have died of COVID or whoever, may God forbid, you know, if they ever, like, you know, if they died because of that, I'd be thinking in the back of my mind, like, I could have done that. I could have caught COVID, and I could have done that, you know. And it's such a big risk, like, you're taking for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, firstly, hang on. Let me just finish this point. Firstly, the microchip business, right?
Right now, you know, Saad's going to go on a rant, bro.
I'm gonna go on a quick rant, right?
Saad, go on these
popcorn.
anti-vaccines, bro. Go on these what do you call them? Anti-vaccine people.
Anti-vaxxers.
Anti-vaxxers.
I'm just gonna go on a 2-minute quick rant, right? Okay, first of all, right, who the heck do people think they are that the government is gonna care about some random guy in the middle of, like, Oldham or whatever, right, or in the middle of Bradford, that's gonna be like, oh yeah, the government's gonna come after me and they're gonna track me everywhere and this and that. I'm like, the government doesn't care about you, bro. You're no one to them. Like, honestly,
the government, they got all these brown people taking our jobs, and now they're gonna give us
the run, bro.
It's so silly, and it's the same argument that, you know, it's, with the organ donation thing, right? And the organ donation thing, okay, maybe there's, like, a, you know, a debate there to be had in terms of, like, Islamically right and stuff. But in terms of, like, okay, the microchip business within the vaccine and stuff, I'm like, bro, the government, honestly, like, if they wanted to track you, they would have done it by now already, and they probably have done it by now already to some extent,
and they
right?
could without putting microchips.
Listen, do you think we're not getting tracked already, bro? What's
tracked already? Yeah,
bro?
100%, bro. If you're brown in this country, there's a chance that you've been monitored already. I'm not even lying.
Bro, there's probably a big, like, profile on all of us here.
Oh, 100%, bro. Like, listen.
FBI is probably our first 3 listeners, bro, on this podcast.
Okay, basically, right, what I'm trying to say is, there's such a big risk of, like, not taking the vaccine to yourself and to others around you, right? Like, okay, so some people, like, okay, COVID exists, but vaccine isn't the solution. Like, the vaccine is something else, right? The vaccine is made up of this and made up of that, and it's got such and such chemicals in it. It's got, like, I don't know, pork fat in it or something. I don't know, some random chemicals or whatever, right? And it's this and that. And I'm like, bro, okay, what other solution is there? You just, like, tank it out? You can't just tank out COVID. It doesn't work like that, right? Like, even young people are dying because of COVID. Like, you're taking a massive risk to your own health and to your own life. And Islamically...
I go gym every day, innit? Bro, I do deadlift and that, bro.
I've never been ill before, bro.
I've never been ill. You know,
I've never caught a cold, man.
It's like, I don't get this mindset. And the thing is, right, if you look at the way it affects your body, you realize this isn't a joke. It kills your body, bro. It destroys your body. Absolutely destroys it. Like, if you've seen CT scans of this stuff, like, my dad's a radiologist, he would know. If you've seen scans of this stuff, right, you know it absolutely destroys your body. Like, when people say they're breathless, they're not just saying, like, they're out of breath after running a mile or something, right? It's not like that feeling. It's literally the feeling about your lungs are gonna die if you don't do something, and that's why they put you on a ventilator instantly, right? And they do other stuff as well. They, like, stick tubes down your throat and, like, all the way around your body, and you literally can't do anything. You can't move a muscle, and it will take you weeks to recover, most likely, right?
Bro,
if you may be healthy, it will take you.
I don't.
Yeah, go on. I'm done. Sorry.
Jeez, what was going on?
I'm gonna go on forever if I keep going. So.
Nah, I appreciate it, bro. I mean, a lot of people, they'll see it. They're like, coronavirus. It doesn't have the highest, like, chance that it can kill you, for example, for it to be lethal. Yeah. But then people don't realize, for the rest of us who don't have, like, you know, who's over 60 years of age and etc., right? It might not kill us, fair enough. It might not kill us, but do you understand how painful it is to have?
100%.
Like, people think it's like having a normal cold, innit? Like, yo, I had a cold before, it's fine, bro. Like, oh, come on, don't lie, bro. You were crying when you had your last cold, bro.
Yeah.
But people say that, but no, you're continuously coughing, which in itself hurts a lot. right?
Because your
And then
throat
you're
gets all
bleeding,
coarse
you're doing
and dry.
this, you're doing that.
Yeah.
Exactly, like it's not a pleasant thing to go through.
Yeah.
100%, bro. But you know what you
Also,
said really reminded me. Oh, wait, go on, Tom.
the testing it went through, just because it was done quickly doesn't mean it's any less relevant, any less better than any other vaccine.
Yeah.
It was done quickly because it literally put the entire world on lockdown,
Yeah.
and the entire
killed
world
millions of
got
people,
together. Yeah, the entire world got together to try and find the vaccine. That's the only reason it was done quickly.
Yeah,
The testing
100%.
was still the same, same rigorous testing, the checks were still the same, everything was done like pretty much the same as any other vaccine, and the most money was ever pumped into it than any other vaccine. So like,
Yeah.
What's interesting is I can't remember what the question is in it,
mm,
but someone recently, maybe a week ago or something, we were on a phone call and he asked me in it about like coronavirus and stuff and what I thought of it. Like what I've been thinking about how people are reacting to coronavirus now in it, like has it changed people and everything. And bro, I'll be honest with you, I don't think this pandemic from now since last year, right? I don't think it's changed anyone, bro. All I think it's done was sort of expose people's true nature a bit more than before. That's it. Like, you know, the vaccines and everything. Bro, that just exposes people's privilege, bro. That's it.
That's true.
Bro, you know people when they're like, yo, I don't want to wear a face mask, innit, when I'm outside. But all that does is show privilege, bro. That's all it is. You know? At first it was COVID and now it's more over. That's all it is.
Bro,
You
honestly,
know, the nature of people is still the same.
100%. Like Mufti Menk did a video on this recently, and he was talking about, well, first of all, he talked about like, you know, the hadith that Allah doesn't send down, the hadith that you know, someone came up to the Prophet and said, shall we seek treatment or whatever, and then the hadith continues to the part everyone really knows, which is the, you know, he said, yeah, Allah doesn't send down a disease except that he also sends its cure, right? And you know, the vaccine is that cure, and you could argue maybe there's another cure but it's not come yet, but that's a whole different debate, right? For now there isn't, and if you really want to take that risk waiting for that cure, then sure, go ahead, by all means, right? You risk your own life as well as the loved ones around you. But he was talking about how like people in Africa and people are, you know, in these poor countries are literally like fighting, is trying to survive just for like one tablet, bro. Like, you know how like we're talking about vaccine, they probably don't have medicines that we've had for like 5-10 years, right? They probably still don't even have
Oh,
that.
that's crazy, man.
And they're fighting over that, and they're struggling just for that, right? And I don't even know if they can barely get paracetamol into the country. Like, I assume they can,
Bro,
but who knows, really, right?
Saad, that's exactly what I mean, bro. But
Yeah.
it just exposes our nature, man.
100%.
You know, like the whole vaccine thing, bro. The argument of whether the vaccine is safe or not, that's not the problem with these lot, right? They don't care about other people, bro.
Yeah.
If they did care about other people, then we wouldn't need to be making those arguments in the first place, innit? You know, like when you said that, okay, let's say I don't take a vaccine in it, bro, that means my families are higher risk. You know, the reason why I take a vaccine is so that it helps the whole country. But we as people don't care about the whole country. I just care about me.
Yeah.
You get me?
That's true.
You know, and it just exposes that. It exposes that, you know, the society that's been built upon, you know, independence and being built
And
upon
greed
me,
and,
me,
yeah.
me,
Me,
and
yeah.
you know,
Individualism.
the dog wars and
Yeah.
you know, just fighting over each other. You know,
I think
and
another.
that's what
Okay.
it's resulted in now.
Sorry, what are you saying?
I was saying that's what it resulted in now, innit? Like, it's not a surprise, bro. You know,
Yep.
people saying they don't want to wear a mask. People saying that, yo, I don't care about this, man, but I'm not going to have a vaccine.
Yep.
You know, all of this, like, not caring about people. Bro, it's easy to go on Instagram and be like, yo, you know, have a nice little post about what's happening in Yemen. Bro, it's easy to do that, innit?
Yeah.
Everyone
100%.
does that. Bro, you know, when the trends come, like, make your profile picture red, green, blue, whatever color you want in it. You know, it's easy. People will do it, innit? But do people actually care about other people? That they'll actually go out their way to take a vaccine, for example? You see that, like, this situation, all it does is it just exposes what people actually think and feel.
100%.
That's
I think another issue, right? So there's an argument that's being made sometimes. It's like, you know, there's this antitrust of the government, right? And it's like, it's like I do care about other people. That's why I don't want like people to take this vaccine. right? Because it might do something damaging to them, or it might have dangerous side effects that we know about later, or such and such, right? And on top of this, you know,
Dr. Sarah,
like
with
all
your
this,
medical degree,
like,
I'm sure you're right with that.
Where'd
like
Sarah come from?
all the Sarahs are offended right now. Or any Sarah listening to us, we do not condone anything Muhammad's saying. But yeah,
Nah,
like
we love all our Sarahs, bro. Don't worry.
this antitrust has gone to such a level
Especially
where they're
Dr.
like,
Sarah.
they're trying. I don't know if they're intentional, but they're trying to frame it in a good way. Like, you know, like, I don't want something bad happening to other people. I don't want them to take this chemical that might be affecting their body or whatever, so on and so forth. What I have to say to them is, right, forget everything, bro. Like, wipe the entire state clean. Forget, you know, sometimes they don't, it's not antitrust of the government, but they don't trust doctors or scholars or whoever, right?
Where do they think they're getting the paracetamol from in the first place?
Bro, honestly,
Where
I
do
don't
they
know.
think
Like,
they're getting their
if you've
inhalers,
been
any
buying
other medication they have?
like, if you've been buying paracetamol off your local pharmacy for so many years, then or your local supermarket
Hate
or
to
whoever,
admit it, man, that's coming through the government.
like, yeah, it's like, bro, I don't know what you're really talking about. Anyway, right? Let's say they have a valid argument there, right? Let's take that into consideration, and let's make that assumption, right? Now, forget all of that, okay? And let's say there is some bias to the government and some bias to, like, maybe there is an agenda, maybe there's that. Just go to the people around you. Like, a lot of people, especially in the South Asian community, a lot of them will have family that work as doctors, right? And if you can't trust them, then honestly, I don't know who you can trust, right? If they're saying to you that the vaccine is legit, right? You should take the vaccine. There's nothing wrong with it. There's been research done on it and this and that. Just do it. Like, I don't see any other reason why you wouldn't. Like, it's like people are going out of their way to make excuses for this thing when they've not made excuses for anything else prior to this, right? Like, okay, there's so many other ways that the government could have got you by now, and they probably have got you by now, right? The fact that you have to make an ID card or a driving license or such and such means that they already own your entire life, bro. Yeah, they have databases on this stuff.
Jeez, I want to down 0 to 100 real quick.
Bro, I'm not even trying. Like, listen, I've
but no, 100%. I get it.
Like, I'm not like, bro. Forget the government. It's so easy for someone to go. If you go to a Starbucks, like, I'm not even lying. If you go to a Starbucks, connect to their Wi-Fi, it's really, really, really easy, right? For someone to pull out their laptop, attach a wireless network card or like a Wi-Fi dongle thing, right, and see all your personal information. It's not that hard, honestly, right? So the government isn't like, if normal people can, like, track you, the government is already tracking you. They tracked you a while ago. They tracked you as soon as you were born in this country, right? So that's not the issue.
Yeah.
Like, you trust the people around you. If you really can't trust anyone else, if you're really going that far, right, with this situation, trust the people around you. Trust the people you know you love and you know that will give you a good information and nasiha, which is sincere advice, right? And just go with that. And the scholar point, I'll just say this briefly. The scholar point, right? Allah tells us in the Quran to take from people of knowledge if we don't know, right? And even sends out a warning to the believers, and he says, "Lima taquluna ma la ta'lamun." Why do you say that which you do not know, right? So he's sending us a warning, and he's also telling us to take, obviously not in the same ayah, I don't think, or the same surah maybe even, but in places there's a verse in the Quran, I can't remember the exact location, but it's something along the lines of, you know, take from people knowledge if you do not know, right? And therefore, if you're putting off these scholars as like, nah, they have some agenda, nah, this, nah, that, then you're really not living by the guidelines that firstly that Allah commanded you to live by, and secondly, it's sad to see this point where it's just come to, you know, this massive antitrust of everything, not just the government but just everything in general. And I don't know how you're living your life, honestly, right? I can get it to certain extents. I can get it, like, in terms of privacy, for example, right? Online privacy. You want to be a bit careful with the websites you're visiting. You want to make sure it's not tracking you. There's ways around that. You know, you can go about that. But in terms of a life and death, literal a life and death situation like this, I think there comes a point where you just have to be like, I need to trust someone. And, you know, if you don't trust anyone else, then at least just trust the loved ones around you, is what I'm saying.
Bro, is that this and that? I completely agree with Saad in terms of trusting people in it. I think with coronavirus, literally, I'd say most of the people that are like on the anti-vaccine side of things, they're just on the bandwagon, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if it wasn't the case that you had those few people who just want to rebel against everything in it, if they didn't bring an issue to vaccines, none of these people would have been on it. You know, because again, if that was the case, then why do they not have any other issue with any other piece of medication from
Yep.
any other pharmacy out there,
Pharmacy,
bro?
yeah.
From
100%.
any pharmacy, bro. It's only the vaccine for some reason, bro. I mean, obviously, we know by definition what a vaccine is going to be a virus that they put inside you, but in order for it to prevent and stuff in it. And it's annoying to see that, like I said before, in it, like freaking Karen or whatever, yeah, who doesn't have any medical license, is just coming up here on a Facebook account and talking about how, this vaccine is dangerous. How do you know it's dangerous? Who are you, fam?
Yeah.
It's true what you said. Obviously, find someone to trust, find someone to take knowledge from it, and take what good they have. In the end, obviously, your teacher's word is never absolute. It's up to you to find the truth and follow.
Unless
a
your
path.
teacher is me.
Chill out. This is why you don't follow him. But like obviously,
I wouldn't even follow
you
me.
respect
By
your
the way.
teachers. You take knowledge from them. You take advice from them. Take everything. You learn a lot from them. But in the end, it's up to you, because you're responsible for yourself first. You have to check everything that you follow, and check what you follow is what you actually believe in.
But yeah, you're right. Like, it's like with anything, there's a risk to it, right? But ultimately, the benefit way outweighs the risk, like completely, right? And just to go off what you were talking about, there comes a point where you have to be like, you're not gonna go to your doctor. He gives you a prescription. You're like, what's your basis for this prescription? And you're gonna start interrogating him, like, okay, what's actually in the medicine, and like, where did this chemical, where did it source from? And you're like, right, well, I don't believe what you said. I'm gonna go to a lab myself and do it myself. Yeah, I'm gonna go get a degree in medicine, then I'm gonna follow it up with a degree in masters in like pharmacy or whatever.
Let me just come back to you in 10 years.
Then we come back to you in 10 years, and like after done a PhD and etc, and done like multiple papers and multiple research on this topic, and then I'll go to a lab, do my own tests with my own money and my own, whatever materials, and then see if the result matches up to yours. It's like, how far are you really gonna take this? Like, there has to be a point where you just say, I'll just shut up and let the medicine do its work and let the doctors do the talking.
100%, man, 100%. And now it's just going to that weird stage in it where, the vaccine's there in it, and it's something that I can't just take by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can't remember how much of the population. I think it was at least 40% or something like that needs to be taking the vaccine for it to actually be effective in it in the country. Because obviously, if only a few people take it, then it's not going to do anything. Because you can still catch it.
I mean,
from
you'll stop spreading it, but other people will still be spreading it. So
yeah, exactly. The whole point is you need at least half the people to not be spreading it.
yeah,
but people don't want it. And going back to the conversation of sort of privacy, right, and like data protection and all of this, right. Obviously, people think like, they're going to put these biochips inside us that's going to be tracking us all the time. Like, firstly, you have your mobile phone. They'd be tracking you on that since day, bro. Like, come on. Don't act like you don't keep your mobile phone on you every single day. Like, I don't know. Like, do you guys ever leave the house without your phone?
No.
When I broke it,
Like, do you guys see? When you broke it. Sam is an exception, leave him in it. But, for the rest of us humans, in it. Like, bro, when we leave the house, we don't leave with our phones in it. We're gonna have that protection, that sort of tracking there anyway.
Yeah.
And then, well, basically, okay, the government, right? They have data on us, right? They have information, and it kind of brings about the argument of, okay, how far can the government go in order of the protection of the state? Yeah. So obviously, like for me, if I make a rule or regulation in a country, right, I need to say, okay, I'm doing this in order to protect the country, right? That's the reason behind it, innit? So how far can you actually go in order to protect the country? Because the reason why we say we're talking about privacy and having people's data is quote unquote to protect them, right? And with that question of how far can you actually go with that, how far can you go with implementing a policy or pursuing a certain action for the sake of protecting people? How far would you go? I'd say, the whole idea of privacy, is it even that bad in the first place? Like, the government having information on you, is it really that terrible of a thing? Like, for example, for me personally, I'd say, like, let's say I'm going online and stuff in it. Or like, you know, people say that they're not using WhatsApp anymore in it because like someone, like they're not using WhatsApp because the government is looking at your WhatsApp or whatever in it. Firstly, bro, if you ever believe the government hasn't been looking at your WhatsApp, then you're freaking, I don't know what you're on, okay?
I mean, they have a lot more information about you already that your WhatsApp messages will tell. Like, they don't need your WhatsApp
exactly.
messages to know stuff about you.
Exactly. And then, yeah, so with WhatsApp in it, I know bare people, yeah, they're like, I'm not using WhatsApp anymore, you know? And it's just like, bro, like...
I mean, what you've described, Mo, is the entire... it's called the private... I'm pretty sure it's called the privacy versus security debate, right? And one big change in it was... Sorry.
Before you go on to that,
Sorry.
What I was gonna say, was and you got a lot of people they don't want to go on WhatsApp anymore, and it's like, bro, what are you hiding? What are you hiding on WhatsApp? Like, I feel like, bro, no, unless me, Tamid, and Saad are conspiring to blow some place up, yeah,
or to fight against the government.
yeah, I know, like, you know,
create a
to plan
group.
something, to plot something, bro, to freaking recruit people into some weird ass organization, like. We're not doing any of that, so why do we have anything to worry about or be annoyed about? You know, like, bar none, yes, say you have some sort of weird, like, fetish you look at or whatever, and it's something you don't want other people to see in it. But then, like, let's say some weird, some random CIA agent is looking at it. Why would I care about that guy looking at it? You get me? You know, unless he's gonna like, unless there's something illegal and he can do something about it. And in that sense, you know, going to the security and what was the other thing called?
Privacy versus security, yeah,
going to that debate, in that case, bro, a lot of crimes nowadays can be, you could say, are facilitated through online as well.
Yeah.
So like pedophilia and stuff like that in it is usually like, you know, there's so many cases like you find a pedophile online who pretends to be another kid or whatever, and then they lure kids out or whatever in it. They use Tinder now. Tinder is the new Sweets. You get me? Right? So you got all of these sort of cases that are happening. Bro, with the government having control of data and where people are, doesn't it make things so much easier for them to be able to incriminate
and this is exactly the debate. And the debate this one of the major events, I'd say, in this debate was the 2016 case, I think, with Apple versus FBI. You guys remember the case where the FBI was like, oh, Apple, let us have a backdoor, essentially an entrance into every single iPhone, so that's easier to remove the encryption, right? If there's encryption used on the phone, then it's very hard to get at to the data because obviously it's encrypted. So the FBI was basically saying, Apple, give us a backdoor into all your devices so that we can easily decrypt stuff. And Apple was like, no, we value our customers' privacy, right? And the fact of the matter is that a lot of you could say like far right radicals, terrorists, etc., use these type of devices, that iPhones, and they have strong security mechanisms. So obviously,
respect the terrorists.
It's not like Apple was saying that we're defending terrorists, but either they were concerned about their old company's reputation and the fact that their customers might hate them.
They're
if
only
they did
concerned about themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
they might actually be genuinely concerned
man.
about privacy. But either way, like you could go either side of the coin and say, no, look, we want our privacy to be, not affiliated with the government, because the government especially can do anything without, they can portray us in any way they want, right? And people are scared of that, and that's a valid concern, right? And the other side of the coin was, no, look, the government needs access to these devices because, like Muhammad said, it can make them easier, it can facilitate that into the analyzing process and the evidence collection process, and it's easier to present the data, right? And it takes less time to do these tasks overall.
It's easier to catch criminals.
But what I'll say, just to kind of, because this debate goes either way for a very long time, and in fact I think this case is still ongoing right now, even though it's been a couple of years at this point. I'm pretty sure it's still ongoing. And all I'll say is this. I'm gonna stick with Muhammad's point. If you don't have anything to hide, you really shouldn't be worried about the government, right? And I would say it's more important for you to hide stuff from other people and private companies, such as Facebook, such as Instagram, WhatsApp, or basically Facebook, because Facebook holds all three, and Twitter, and these online private companies, and these big companies like Google as well and Apple. It's probably more important to hide it from them than the government, because honestly, I think it's got to a point now, or it will do, and I think the online banning of Trump, even though I'm glad Trump has gone off all media platforms, it kind of does show that the social media has this power, and these platforms have this power to just shut down anyone that they want to shut down, really, right?
Hashtag cancel culture.
Cancel culture, yeah, exactly. And they you can get anyone off the platform just by making a big fuss about it, and then Twitter will eventually be like, right, you're suspended, right? So, or you're blocked, or you're banned. So I think you should be more concerned about about private companies having access to your data than government having access to data. I think if you want to really go after privacy, right, use a VPN, use these tools, these other like private browsers like Brave that block tracking and ads, right, and this cookie stuff and all this type of stuff. Go after that, right, instead of being so anti-government. Unless obviously you're doing something really illegal, which you shouldn't be, of course. But you should be anti-private company, because honestly, I think at this point they probably have more power than the government do in some cases. And if I'd be highly surprised if they didn't have power in most cases by the next 5 to 10 years.
No, 100%, bro. I think it's already the case.
Yeah.
People think that, bro, obviously there are people with heaps of money behind the government, easily, that control the government, bro. That's just how the world works, bro. It's just more covert in our countries, isn't it, compared to back home and stuff.
Yeah.
But it got you need to ask yourself this question, innit? And this is for everyone listening to this as well. Like, for me personally, if I was running a country, bro, and I had the option of, okay, let's say I can have data on every single person, what they're doing, all their activity online, everything, 100%, in order for me to be able to protect people, protect kids from online predators, protect people from whatever online crap is going on in it, whatever crime or whatever, if I can do that at the expense of people's privacy, I'd do it, bro. I'd do it. It's not like I'm making a public knowledge for everyone what Saad was watching last night on YouTube. I'm not making a public knowledge, but it's something that I, as the government, as the official caretaker of the country, I should be able to have that information and be able to utilize it to prevent, whatever problems can come across in it. And at that point, really, can I really sit here and complain about how this random CIA agent is going to know about what dodgy thing or embarrassing thing I may be looking at online last night, if at the suspense of someone's life being saved because the government knew about the data of the person that was, whatever.
Yeah. Expense. Did you say suspense?
No, expense.
Okay, I thought you said suspense for a second. I was like, sorry, my bad. I could
suspense, bro. Yeah, that's it, really.
Okay.
What was I saying? Sorry, that was the last thing. At the suspense of.
At the expense of someone's life being saved or something along those lines.
See, I said suspense that time, bro.
Yeah, at the expense of someone's life, being endangered or something like that.
At the suspense. At the expense of, exactly, at the expense of someone else's life. Is it really that deep? You have to really weigh the pros and cons behind that, innit? And it just goes back to that, if you're not doing anything wrong, you shouldn't have an issue. Now, Saad did say that it is very easy for, let's say, a company or whatever to make you look bad. We obviously know character assassination and all these sort of tactics have been used since day, with politicians, with public figures, etc. in it. It's normal. The thing is with this, my argument, and people say make sure your Instagram is good and stuff like that, because companies look at it before you get your job in it. Yeah. What I'd say to all of that, and the idea of, people can utilize your information in a bad way. Well, only thing I can say is use common sense in it. Use your brain. Don't post something that's weirdly controversial,
Yeah.
You know, like I know, like there's this one guy from college in it, Pakistani guy. He took a picture of himself like with guns and stuff in Pakistan. Obviously, people are gonna like be a bit sus about it. Like it's kind of like, come on, bro. You're not making it any easier for yourself, innit? Like just be a bit sensible. Just be sensible with your social media. That's it. You know, keep a second eye out. You should do that anyway, like regardless of anything else. You know. But yeah, that's all I have to say with that. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, found it beneficial. Just a little conclusion. Today's episode we spoke about anti-vaccination, anti-vaxxers?
Anti-vax, yeah,
vaccine as well.
Anti-vaxxers, the vaccine, stuff like this. Should you take it? Should you not take it? We spoke about. Why are you laughing?
Nothing. Carry on.
Alright, calm, bro. Thank you for interrupting
I didn't
my
interrupt.
conclusion, Ahmed.
I didn't interrupt.
With your freaking
I'm just,
sniffling, bro.
I've got COVID.
Yeah, sure, bro.
Cough.
But yeah, anyways, you know, we spoke about that. We spoke about privacy and the government. I hope you guys found today's episode beneficial. We haven't been on for a minute because of exams and stuff, but we're here. And inshallah, I hope you guys continue to stay tuned to our weekly episodes. Is it bi-weekly now, innit?
Bi-weekly
episodes. But yeah, with that said, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Take care and stay safe.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi.